but we'll see it through.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. We are back again.
Back again.
We're
Guess
gonna-
who's back? No, okay, I'm not doing that.
All right, we've before we get into introducing some special guests that we have joining us tonight, let's get into some welcomes, Deb.
All right, so who have we got on? Hey, Joe. Hey, Noni.
Joe's here. Hello, Noni.
And Patrick, Wendy, Brett.
Jeez, Deb, you're going through this. Quick for me. G'day,
Hey,
Wendy.
Kevin. So we met Kevin just this weekend.
Oh,
it was
we did.
finally nice to meet you.
Yes.
After all the comments, so that was awesome.
Yeah. Alison's here.
Hey, Alison.
We've got Celia. G'day, Celia. Good to see you.
Another Brisbaneite.
Yes. And we've got Peter's here. G'day, Peter. And who else have we got? Ron. Ron is in the house.
Ron.
Hello, Ron. And we've got Seize the Day with Tashi and Steely. G'day, guys. Welcome all the way from over in New Zealand. We've got Rowan's on board as well.
Another person, hey, Kim. And then Linda, finally nice to have met you also just on the weekend.
We did indeed get to meet you, Linda. Nice. Got the opportunity to hang out with you a couple of times.
Yeah, we did. We kept running into each other lots of times.
Very sparkly, very shiny
those 80s outfits
for the 80s nights.
Yeah, they were pretty cool outfits, pretty cool. Linda.
And Nate, g'day, Nate. And Katrina's here as well. Hello, hello.
Hey, Tina.
All right, guys, we just got off our latest cruise. It was the first cruise for the old Pacific Encounter, now sailing as Carnival Encounter with Carnival Cruise Lines Australia. And we also had some friends this weekend, or on Friday, that were in Sydney with Carnival on Carnival Adventure for the media day and the launch of the two new ships to Carnival anyway.
Yeah, so we thought we'd bring the three lot of us here tonight because between us we could probably start answering some questions of what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen Rob and Amy have already done a video as well on what they saw.
Videos, yep.
Ours are yet to drop, but this is a good one to start answering some questions.
Yeah, so let's bring on our guests. We've got Amy from Crazed Fam, and Rob is here from Rob and Ali Cruise and Travel. G'day, guys.
Hey, how you going, guys? It's I see a lot of familiar names in that
Yes,
list.
I think we all share.
Hi to everybody from us. And this is the first time the three of us, we talk a lot, but this is the first time the three of us actually, I think, been in as close as contact as we can. So this I'm really excited about this. Thanks for inviting us, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, all good. I think I think it shows, I think you were about to say this, that the Australian cruise market has such a great following, and it's really beautiful to see so many people support all of us as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we enjoy it. We love bouncing around. So for all the viewers out there, we're always sort of encouraging each other, bouncing ideas around, trying to find ways to collaborate where we can. Happy birthday again for last week, Amy. What a way for you to celebrate your birthday, getting to party with the Carnival crew.
Yeah, literally the best way to spend my birthday. It was so good. So good. A lot better than your way, Deb.
Any way was better than my way. You still got to try and make that up, I think.
Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. So, guys, before we sort of dive into, I guess, our experience being on board and actually cruising for the first time on the weekend, tell us a little bit more about what you guys experienced being in Sydney with the media event on Carnival Adventure.
Sure. Rob, do you want to start or?
I'm like this on Teams as well. Where's my cursor gone? And get myself off mute. If there's a delay, it's because I'm searching around for the mutes. Yeah. Look, this came totally out of the blue for us, and we got an invite from Carnival to go down. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Laura.
Say
we got an
hello.
invite to go down to Carnival, to Sydney by Carnival, and Amy and I were talking. Amy said she was going, and originally I wasn't going to go because Alison couldn't get the time off work with upcoming cruises and leave and everything else. So she persuaded me to go down. I took Maddie, and it was a great day. It was pouring down here in Brisbane, and it was pouring down when we landed. But by the time we got to the ship, it cleared up. And apart from a little bit of rain, we got to see pretty much all of the things that we wanted to see. And it was great to catch up with Amy as well.
Absolutely. Sorry, I missed some of that because I had a little intruder.
Everybody else probably did as well, Amy, because I think you sort of like stole that section.
Sorry about that. Lyra's got a way of doing that. No, it was absolutely great to meet you in person, Rob, because like these guys said, we do all talk all the time. We've got our own little chat that kind of happens and we all bounce off each other. So it was really great to meet you in person, Rob. And I get to meet Deb and Matt very soon in
Not
person.
long now
which
at
I'm
all.
super excited about.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it was a real honor to be invited to the event and to rub shoulders with Christine Duffy and Rob from Rob and Ali. And
if you've seen and watched them before, you'll know she's not shy. She's sort of like, and we were stood there at the Oasis. She went, "Oh, Christine Duffy's over there." A beeline for Christine Duffy.
No. She made eye contact with me. She came over to me.
Yeah, that's right. Actually,
I have a way of drawing people in. Deb and Matt are about to experience that firsthand soon.
No, it was good though, because a lot of there's a couple of the cruise directors there that we've met before, Abby and Shell. There were quite a few of the staff that used to be on the Encounter. I haven't seen them for a while because they transferred to the Adventure, so it was good to catch up with them as well.
I got to see the stuff I saw on the Adventure a month ago, so yeah, it was great to see them. Yeah, so good.
That's definitely one of the things I love about cruising is the going back to the ship and seeing 100%. That stuff and there's that feeling of home. You build these friendships and these relationships with the staff on board.
Oh yeah, they become like family.
I'm not sure whether I put this in the video or not because the sound wasn't too good in places. But when they were doing the speeches, and Christine said that 96% of the staff had come over from P&O to the Carnival, there was a huge roar and a huge cheer for that as well. So very popular amongst everybody that was on board when we were on board was the fact that the staff were staying.
Yeah.
No, that's been a big thing.
And a lot of the staff from the cruise we were speaking to, a lot of the staff we were speaking to on the weekend, they're really excited as well for the opportunities that this actually provides for them to extend their careers in a lot of circumstances too. Like they've got the opportunity to see other parts of the world now. They're not locked into P&O Australia. They can, potentially transfer to the US or to Europe and places around the world. So very exciting.
And just off that, one of the most beautiful entertainment staff, Alex, which Rob you would know. I'm not sure, Amy, if you've ever met Alex.
I know of her. I follow her on Instagram.
she has just been given a massive promotion this weekend, and now she's going to senior.
She's got one of those
senior fun squad.
Over
in Spain.
Yeah, so she's heading to Spain to do the dry docking
yesterday.
Lead the dry docking of. She's going home for a couple of months, and then heads over there, and we'll be doing a dry docking project, and then transferring that ship to the US. So really great opportunity for Alex.
Yeah, it was great to see that. That's just one of the staff members that we have got to know very well over the time.
So look, I guess you guys got to. Is there any inside tips that you can share with us yet? Maybe from something that Christine Duffy let slip. Maybe you got anything
before we get into anything?
What do you think, bro?
Yeah, she was very. Her speech was very much about sort of like the transfer. One of the things she did mention quite a lot, and what came over quite a lot, and also I think she said the same when she was in Brisbane, is the amount of North American passengers that they have coming to Australia and the demand for Australian cruises in America. I think she said 15% of the current passengers on Splendor and Luminosa are from North America. And so they're looking forward to promoting the extra ships in Australia. So I think, I'm not sure how much that came across, but I think there was definitely sort of an excitement about being able to promote Australia, get the North Americans over here, bring the North American dollar to Australia.
You need to bring it to Melbourne.
Well,
too.
And you are so right. You are so right. It's
that definitely carried over. And Amy, I think, I was thinking about this a lot on the weekend. I'm like, more Americans on the Australian ships. It's actually, I think, potentially a very good thing, because this is a way for them to really open up the market, and having both Encounter and Adventure, which are very unique ships now to the Carnival fleet, it provides them a very different product offering. Yes, all the the general services, bells and whistles are the same, but the ships are very different for their fleet, and it's a unique product offering, and they really seem quite confident in their targets to bring more US to cruises to Australia.
And even the conversation so we also met Christine Duffy. She was on Encounter.
I'm at it too.
The day after, wasn't it?
I don't want to be left out. I'm at it too.
And well, we ended up having a conversation, Rob. No, I'm joking.
Well, we shared a bottle of wine.
No, we didn't. Free drinks.
We didn't.
And but that was sort of, we could see her vision as well.
And she spoke a lot as well.
Matt. Yeah. Sorry, I think you're right, but I think they're going to need to be very careful how they market this proposition over in the US.
Absolutely.
Because you're right, Encounter and Adventure are very unique ships. They're very different from not only Splendor and Luminosa, but also from a lot of the other Carnival fleet. And they need to be very careful to explain that, I think, in their marketing over in the US, so that people are not coming over, getting on the Adventure and the Encounter and expecting the same Carnival experience, because they're not going to get it, I don't think. Well, you've been on this weekend and you've been on Carnival before, so you'll know. Yes. You'll know it's different.
So I'll just add to that. So even the ships we have here in Australia are not your typical Carnival cruise ships.
No.
We don't have the Blue Iguana Cantina. There's no other ships that has the Masala Tiger except for the Splendor. That one was originally built for Costa, which is why it's so crazily decored, like it's like for the Italian market. So even that one was built for Costa, and then Luminosa was built for Costa. So these ships are not authentic Carnival ships.
No.
Splendor is 100% the close. Well, it's probably about 90% there. It's probably the closest you'll get to a Carnival ship, like your typical Carnival ship in Australia. Luminosa has elements of it, but there's still bits missing. But then now we have the Adventure and the Encounter, which are just completely different altogether. So if they don't explain to people, hey, there's no Guy's Burger joints, hey, there's New Zealand ice cream, which is a different brand, and you're going to have to pay for that. There's no free soft serve. There's, additional charges for some of your stuff that you'd usually get for free. If that's not clearly explained and they come over here, I could imagine there'd be a bit of uproar. So I do hope that they're very careful in how they market that, because we're used to that with it being P&O. But if they're promoting it as Carnival, that's a very different experience. And I was kind of hoping it would fall a little bit more in line with what Carnival usually do, just to keep it a little bit more streamlined. that hasn't really happened from what we've seen. But Deb and Matt, you've been on board, you've experienced it a bit more than what we have. So
yeah, look, I think again having some of that conversation. So we got to have a chat with Christine at the end of the day after the all the sort of main presentation had been done. So they were doing the presentation to the Royal Children's Hospital of a check for $16,000. We got to have a chat afterwards, and I think some of that alignment that will happen, that those bigger sort of things that need to happen for an alignment or closer alignment will happen with the dry docks. And as the contracts for services like Luke's and things like that sort of come to their natural points, natural endpoints, that's when those changes will happen, and you'll start to see things more like Luke's probably getting replaced with Fahrenheit and things like that. So
okay, so I have a thought. We've got lots of comments coming in, and I think these might lead into some of the changes rather than us just talk about what we found and did.
So
let's just start with these comments and let's kind of answer these questions.
So we will get in a couple of quick further hellos. So we've got the BG Travelers are saying hello. G'day, guys. Good to see you.
Linda and Dylan also. Yes, it was lovely to meet you guys on the 90s
Certainly
cruise.
Was.
All right, let's find.
Amy is on board. Another Amy here tonight. Nate says loves the little Aussie cruise community.
So do we.
Yeah, we do. We all do. Katrina.
Hi, Katrina.
Shout out to you, Amy. She started watching your channel recently. Celia asks, here's the first question. Did they do a welcome aboard show on the first night? So the first night, Celia, the first night on the cruise, at least here on Encounter, Saturday was an absolute washout, and everything was sort of rejigged a little bit. There was meant to be, it was supposed to be, or was an 80s cruise, and we'll get into that in a bit more in a moment. But the sort of traditional sail away party didn't end up happening up on the Lido deck. It ended up being in the lobby because of the weather.
Yeah, but the welcome aboard show is the one in the marquee.
That's the one at night.
Okay.
Yeah. So they did a show time. Sorry, Amy.
Yeah, that's the one where because I follow the entertainment director because I've met him on Adventure, and I know for sure he did it on there. It's the one where they basically shake their bum and try to get the ping pong balls, and then there's a probably about a 15-20 minute production that follows the which I actually like that they've got this, because this is an audience interaction type thing where you can win VIP, or if you get up, you get VIP treatment for the rest of the cruise. But then after that, then there's about a 15 to 20 minute show with the playlist cast. So did you have that, or did you not see that?
I found the fun times.
Oh, okay. So you didn't see it, but
no, we didn't.
Hey, while you're looking at that, fun fact here, but if you watch our video, you'll see a short clip of the welcome aboard party, and you'll actually see Scylla and her husband Nick on the stage there with that ball thing that you were talking about.
Oh.
And if you have a look at the one I did with Rob and Ali, with Rob, I put a little tiny snippet of me having to be a sexy dolphin.
I did see that.
Yeah. So that was actually hilarious. Alira was laughing her head off watching that. It was funny.
So on the Saturday night, which was the sail away,
it would have been around 9 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, no, there's a they had musicology.
Yeah, that's right.
At 9 o'clock. So they did the old piano show, musicology.
Yeah, no, I was surprised. I remember actually making this comment going, oh, there's no, welcome aboard showtime kind of thing.
And then I know they definitely did it on Adventure.
Yeah, okay. Because it was musicology, we thought, oh, well, I think we ducked in. But yeah,
And then
I
then they
wondered
had
if it's because it was an 80s cruise and it was a themed cruise that maybe
That's
they
what I'm
sort of
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that's a whole other conversation we're going to have shortly. But
yeah, look, I
it could have
think
been.
I think it could have been. I was going to say the same thing though, because I think Adventure's doing an South Pacific cruise at the moment. That was her maiden, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what she's doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it could have been. Maybe that's what it was. The
Yeah.
change for the 80s cruise. So the next one is and Mather, is there a Fahrenheit restaurant or is it still Luke's? Yeah, it is still Luke's at the moment, and it will be that at this stage until at least the I think the official wording is kind of until the contract, but whether that contract aligns, the end date aligns with dry dock or not 100% sure. But that's my sort of educated guess, listening to a few things that have been said, that it'll probably we'll see those changes as the dry docks happen.
Yeah, correct.
Joanne's asking, seems like Adventure had new furniture. Is that correct? Did you guys spot new furniture on Adventure?
Don't know if it was new furniture in the Byron Beach Club where we were sitting. Do you reckon that was? Oh, you haven't been on it. Had you been on Adventure, Rob?
Okay, so the furniture looked, yes, we've been on Adventure before, but didn't go Byron Beach Club though, Amy. So I don't have anything to compare. But yes, all up in that area in the Byron Beach definitely looked like brand new furniture. The furniture in the casino definitely brand new. In fact, the casino has the biggest makeover of anywhere on the entire ship.
Yeah.
There were some new tables
exactly
and
the same.
chairs. Yeah, now I think you mentioned this to me, Matt, when you said about the studio, the piano bar, not Studio 88, Piano Bar 88, and you said that there were now tables and chairs over the dance floor. We did see that on the Adventure, and they were new tables and chairs. And I wondered whether maybe it was there for the crew, or maybe it was there for the media day, or something like that. But from what you said, they still have the tables and chairs. But apart from that, I didn't notice too much new furniture.
Yeah, there was a bit of a, what we noticed was there was a mix. So there was still old furniture in a lot of like the older furniture in a lot of places, but there were things that had been so there were new lounges, for example, the on deck 5 between sort of the lobby and the shore excursions desk, so new lounges in that area.
I noticed
Lily's
that was done up too.
Lily's has had some new furniture added to it.
Byron Beach didn't look new.
No, it didn't.
When I went in for a look around on
Byron Beach on Adventure is different to Encounter. The area that we were, that Amy and I did that video from, is just a big open area on the Encounter, but on the Adventure, they've actually got an enclosed area with all those lounges in and the pods and everything. So it is a different Byron Beach area. So that makes sense. One question for you though, Matt, because we noticed this on a couple of occasions, is in the Encounter Hotel, the seats were looking very worn and ripped in places. Have they recovered the seats in the Encounter Hotel? I'm talking about the booths, not the actual chairs.
We actually didn't sit in any of the booths.
No, but
I didn't notice any.
No, there was nothing. Yeah, nothing sort of new in the Encounter Hotel. It all seemed pretty much as it was, mate. Yeah.
I think we've got to bear in mind though, and Amy sort of like we were chatting about this when we were away, is that it was they were actually only 10 days. Did you say, Amy? They were actually only 10 days. In Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean it would be 2 weeks if you count the day that they left and the day that they docked again. So there was only 10 days actually at port in Melbourne, and remember some of those days they had to go out. I know they had workers on board and they were probably doing stuff right from the beginning. But yeah, there was only 10 days down there in Melbourne, and that's when I saw all the trucks going down onto the pier and all that kind of stuff. So there's only so much they can do, and you think they've changed 100%. The number on every single cabin. Every single cabin's got a number. You think of like the bottom of the pool where it said P&O, that's all got to be done. There's actually a lot more that goes into it. Like people can look at it surface level and go, not much was done. But the reality is it still takes a lot of time to do a lot of this stuff.
One of the things that I actually really loved with one of the changes before we get to the next comment was they've actually now put in the lifts a list of what's on what deck.
Yeah.
So there's plaques in the lifts now, and that hasn't existed beforehand. So you get into a lift and you go, pick. But now they've got these plaques in there, which I thought was actually a really great
and actually
addition.
quite large and easy to read. So, Patrick asks, how was the food and was there any dancing in the MDR?
Okay. So the food was actually not fantastic. It had its hits and misses throughout. I was like one of our favorites, Rob, the porchetta. Like, it is one of my absolute favorite dishes, as it is yours. And I couldn't eat it. It was like a boot. And I've never had that before.
Gutted.
There was just a few meals, like Dragon Lady wasn't fantastic.
I want to say, like, I want to preface all this though. Dragon Lady was the very first meal, like dinner we had.
Yes.
And it was on the first night, the first sitting of 2,800 passengers, and this cruise was the first time they had, with all the changes that we since the changes that they had passengers on board. So it was a big learning experience for everyone, because there is a different way of doing things. And I don't want this at this stage. We're not passing judgment either on whether things have failed, whether things are bad or not. I think people have got to take a breath, because
there's always going to be teething issues.
There was a lot of negative comments coming out of that cruise. And we have tried to stay very neutral and just go, especially around service and things like that in particular, because if I'll just jump to it now, we spoke to a lot of staff and they were struggling. They've got a whole new system that they're learning, especially in the dining rooms in particular. They've not been doing things on these phones and iPads. And look, they were coming up to us because they know us and they're like, we don't know what we're doing. We're struggling. I'm like, you guys will be okay. Like, they needed a boost because they were like, I don't know if we can do this. And I'm like, you can. Remember, you started on P&O once. You can do this. And that's the kind of the message we were trying to get out to passengers as well. Yes, I mean, as we said, food was hit and miss, but you know what, we ate. I don't care somebody else cooked it. So
there's always teething issues with any maiden voyage, and that was ultimately a 100%. Maiden voyage. And there is always teething issues. You've got all this crew. It's one thing doing training, but when you actually have the passengers there and you have to do it for real life, it's completely different. So I do feel like people need to just chill out a bit, give it a minute, let the dust settle, and give them a chance,
So
I'd agree with you, Amy. We are a little bit different, I guess, the three of us, in that we are fortunate enough to be able to cruise quite often. And if we have an experience that's not necessarily up to our standard, there'll always be the next one. But not everybody's in the same boat, pardon the pun. Some people have they've been on a cruise. It was P&O when they booked it. They were expecting the experience, Yes, things go wrong. Of course they do. But at the end of the day, these people have saved and they've gone on this holiday expecting one kind of experience. And if they don't get it, I can understand them being disappointed. I heard a lot of comments about people taking it out on the staff. That I don't think is acceptable. I don't think there's any need to it, or any reason why anybody should do that. But I think for people to be disappointed, it's probably understandable to a certain degree.
Look, I mean, if speaking specifically on the food, though, for the moment, I think the menus have been tweaked slightly. So there are, maybe a couple of things sort of missing or new things that have been out. So there's this wonderful, I had it one night, this sort of Mediterranean bowl, which was sort of like a Mediterranean chicken skewers off the skewers with some rice and hummus and pickled onion and
pita bread
and some really fresh lettuce.
Fabulous.
And it was
which restaurant was that in?
That was in Waterfront.
I'll try that.
Yeah. So, that was absolutely magnificent. I had the lasagna in Angelo's on the third night. That was, which, is a bit of a staple as well. And that was,
you love that.
That was magnificent. The carnival,
oh my goodness. Okay.
Chocolate melting cake.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I actually don't eat a lot of dessert, but a good lava cake, melted cake is kind of my little weakness. And I had it 2 nights in a row and it was fabulous.
We had a chef once. It was only one cruise. Actually, it was 2 cruises, but they were pretty close. They were about 6 months apart. I reckon it could have been the same chef. He made us a dairy-free one. I've never had it again. No other ones have been able to make it. But we had a dairy-free one. And Ty and I, on our 12-day cruise, had that every single night.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I've even tried to pre-email and warn and say, hey, we've had this before. Can we have it again? And we've never had it again. But it was absolutely amazing, even a dairy-free version. And so shattered that we can't eat it, but it is a staple. The other thing people like to do is get some peanut butter with it. They ask for peanut butter with it because, Americans especially love the chocolate with peanut butter. I love
peanut butter.
Well, next time, ask for some peanut butter with it.
Oh, I'm in.
Okay.
All right, done.
So, Patrick, the other part of your question is, was there any dancing in MDR? We didn't see any dancing, any sort of presentation. And look, this was the first one, and I think there was a lot of teething issues, and I don't think they wanted to put that extra pressure on the staff, to be honest.
But we are back on Carnival Encounter in a
couple of
weeks or so. That's right, Rob.
The Easter long
You're
weekend
on it as well. So I have said to a few people it'll be interesting to see, let's jump back on it again in a few weeks where it's done 3 or 4 and see how it's going on that one. All right, let's jump to the next one.
Next question. How is it different to on Adventure versus Encounter? So the Bar and Beach Club, and guys, you'll be able to add anything extra to this from your recent experience. We did Adventure in July last year, and one of the things I remember commenting on to Deb was Adventure has a much more extended beach club area. So you've still got the sort of front bit under the sails on Adventure, but then it comes back much further towards the midship. So basically, as soon as you sort of get up the stairs to that section, you're almost going along the side and straight into Beach Club, whereas that's a sort of transition and open space on Encounter. You guys notice anything else different?
Yeah, so Rob, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I did. The other thing is as well, I can't remember. Have they got the cabanas on the Encounter?
Yes.
Yep.
They have. Okay, so
the private ones. The 3 private ones.
Yeah, there's 3 cabanas there that have like a fridge and you can close it off.
That was on Adventure. Encounter didn't have those. Not when we went into the Encounter bar. We haven't been in the Encounters Bar and Beach Club for a couple of years.
So I don't want to comment on that one exactly.
I don't recall them having it, but I might be wrong there. Maybe somebody in the chat's been on there and can maybe Joanne knows and see, because apart from that though, I didn't really notice too much difference. It's the same thing. It's got the pool area, it's got the chairs around, it's got the little saunas and the sauna and the steam room in there. The cabins have not really changed much either. Actually, Amy pointed out that they've still got coffee machines as well, so it's like,
yeah, those saunas and steam rooms, anyone can use those, though. They're not just for Bar and Beach.
See, that's a question I got asked today, but they're actually in the BBC area, and you've got no access to there.
So we entered from near the gym, and one of the girls said to me that they're for everyone, and that the ones on the right-hand side were for the men, and the ones on the left-hand side were for the women.
Yeah, I recall that from because I've had a look at them before on the Encounter, but I seem to recall that you actually, in order to get to that area, you need to have your BBC key. You've got your swipe thing. I might be wrong on that. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
She told
I
me they were
thought you
free for
could.
everyone. So
Yeah, not sure.
but you couldn't access the Byron Beach area from those saunas. It was
Yeah, you
kind
can, Amy. I walked around there. You can. It takes you straight into the pool area.
Okay.
Oh, straight into the
right.
BBC pool area from the spa.
Yeah.
The spa
Yeah,
point.
because
We're all very unclear on that.
And then they're at the
Yeah.
right at the front.
Yeah, because there was the little like kind of almost like a little bridge thing.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, when we walked through, it was gated off, like it was kind of fenced off. But you obviously entered in that way, so don't know.
All right, we've got a lot of questions here. Let's see if we can start pummeling through a little bit more of them. Has it been decorated in the carnival bright lights? Well, we would say that's one thing that we actually commented on is that it looked so nice and bright. It like it's still the P&O decoration, but we did find that and even Christine just confirmed that with us that they changed a lot of the light bulbs. So we did just find it a lot brighter.
Yeah, definitely on Encounter a lot brighter. How did you guys find Adventure? Was it similar? Did you find the lighting sort of just felt lifted a bit more?
It's hard because we were on during the day, so it's a bit hard.
The Luke's bar is definitely a lot brighter than the Bonded store. It's in the same place, but they still serve the smoked cocktails, and I think they serve the same sort of drinks. But the Luke's bar down by the Marquee Theatre is definitely a lot brighter than the Bonded store is on the Encounter. Even the decoration side, it's all very, very light decor in there as well.
When I was on Adventure, it was quite dark last time. I didn't make it to Luke's last week, but maybe they brightened that up too because it was quite dark when I went.
It certainly seemed, they've obviously just ticked up, the wattage of the light bulbs a little bit or something, and it's just, it just was a
lovely
lot
and fresh.
Next question was John the Pommy Barman still on Encounter?
I don't know.
Jay Hinsey, sorry, I don't know. I didn't see him. I did stick my head in, didn't see him. And Rob, I didn't see Depeche, but we'll have to go and have another look when we get back on in a few weeks.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Linda went to Blanc de Blanc. What a show. Absolutely hilarious. There you go, everyone. There's a recommendation.
It is certainly fabulous. We have seen it ourselves as well, and
we got a
brilliant.
We got a preview, and they made me be a part of the show. That was
Of course
made you.
I'll get up and dance any day. Unfortunately, I was not dancing in this one. I had to actually speak, and anyway.
I didn't see you do that, Amy, but I'm interested to what part of the show you were actually involved in.
Let's just say I had to speak French, and and anything where I'll dance, I'll do whatever, I'll make an idiot of myself, but when I've got to sing or talk or whatever, it's something completely different. It's just not.
All right, got that one already.
Rob sees the Tashi and Steely from Seize the Day are saying they want your background shelves.
This is where all the magic happens. This is my office here where all the magic happens, and I sort of spend quite a lot of day. There you go.
I could joke that this is where the magic happens for me too, but that's.
We'll just compare the two.
Good job, Amy, lying in bed. We're staying out. We're in the office. All right.
On that note, let's go to the next one.
Joanne says that, I think this is going back to what we were saying before. They don't think they'll be much interested in Adventure or Encounter, totally different ships. Yeah, look, I think variety in ships, though, is something people do look for. It's just as much about location as it is about staff, as it is about ships. And as we know, I struggled with Splendor. Like, it was, for me, Splendor just wasn't a ship that spoke to me.
And that's going to happen with any ship.
Yeah,
see,
that's right.
That's exactly what it is all about.
And certain ships people relate to better. We know a lot of people that don't like quantum. We love the quantum class ships. So I think, it's another opportunity for them. Where are we? A bit more conversation there about the two ships and the different restaurants. Yeah, again, I think once the dry docks happen, that will all sort of change and they'll probably get more alignment. Anything changing with the cost of a cruise and the cabin category? Are they changing? I'm seeing a lot of chatter. I want to kind of address this because I saw another conversation today where somebody put up a bit of a misleading, oh, look how much more expensive this, 8-night South Pacific cruise from Brisbane is. And, I paid $3,500 on Encounter, and now on Carnival, it's, $5,500, whatever the price was. And the screenshot they put up was actually for Luminosa, and it was for sort of the very beginning of the next season. So you weren't really comparing apples with apples. Like, you're talking about a cruise 6 months ago that you could have booked as a last minute deal versus one that's at the end. Look, are we going to see the same regular sort of flash sales and things? Maybe not. I mean, Carnival have their way of doing their sales. But yeah, I'm not really sure. What have you guys, Rob or Amy, you seen anything or anything more to add?
Yeah.
Firstly,
sorry, Amy, you go.
Yeah, well, when I was wrapping up all the P&O stuff and doing all the videos, I found some old ads for P&O. I'm talking 1990, and they were talking about 7-day cruises from $1,200. So you look at how much inflation has gone up since then, and it's gone up massively. So if you look at, look, we're not getting the same crazy cruise deals we used to get, but that's also because the demand is there at the moment. But when you look at that, like I was like, wow, that's how much it was back then. Well, that's pretty much what we're paying about now. And it's just, so I think we've had it pretty good for a fair bit of time. Yes, the cost of cruising is going up, but the demand's also there. You can't compare it to post-pandemic prices because so much happened over the pandemic, and so many people were so hesitant to get back on the ships. They just wanted people on the ships to spend the money. Now the demand is there. People are cruising. Of course, it's going to go up. But not only that, like, where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, like, oh, that's what I was going to say. So now, unfortunately, because Carnival have now taken over P&O, there's no competition anymore. So I do think it could potentially drive it up a little bit. But still, for us as a family, if we compare that to, say, a week on the Gold Coast, the cost of a hotel, food every single day, hiring a car, all of that, cruising still wins out every day for us.
100%.
Absolutely, and it's still good value. I was doing the same thing. I've got a brochure here from 2010, and exactly the same. It's cheaper now than it was in 2010. A little while ago, I did a bit of research on this, and I can't remember why I did it. But anyway, I was looking at the cost, and the figures that were coming back that it actually costs around $200 per passenger per day just to run a cruise ship. So that's so if you think about that, your fare, first $200 of your fare is just maintaining, paying the crew, paying the staff, paying the food and everything else. And when you can still get cruises for less than that, I've actually got a hold on your birthday cruise, Amy, and it's a good price. It's a good price. It's less than $200 per person per day. So yeah, it's hit and miss. When I've been looking at the prices, I've tried to do a little bit of comparison, and some do seem to be more expensive, but others take you by surprise. Your birthday cruise, Amy, that took me by surprise. I was like surprised how affordable that was compared to some of the other ones. So I think there's going to be a correction. I think there's going to be a leveling out. It's still in a transfer phase.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're in a bit of a leveling out phase, or we will enter that leveling out phase soon. The market's got to adjust a little bit. Singapore's starting to hot up. The fire's starting to really ignite around Southeast Asian cruising. So there's going to be a lot happening in this sort of Asia Pacific part of the world with cruising, and I think we're going to see more competition. I know we've had a drop directly here in Australia with Dora going over and going through the rebranding and refitting and under the new owners there and stuff, but I think we'll see a stabilization again. You got to remember, there's been a lot of demand. People were afraid to go on cruises before COVID, post pandemic, and prices really dropped to get people using their cruise credits that they had and all that sort of thing, and getting people back on board. And there's been a bit of a correction to get them back up to probably a more marketable point for the businesses, and that'll start to steady out.
I think it'd be nice to see if we could get a new player in the Australian market just to replace that and sort of add a bit more competition. There's a few cruise lines that I'd like to see come here. I don't know whether they will. I don't think they will, but it would be nice to see a new cruise line come into Australia just to add to the mix and keep everybody on the toes. Yeah,
that would be good.
Let's just try and push through a few of these.
What's the husband saying? That's Peter.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw Al online as well, just a little bit before as well.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. I did go. Oh, sorry. Oh,
I've lost your spot. Sorry.
Hang on. Just come back here because I just
I'm scrolling too fast. Okay, best change. All right, let's go. We've got a question here from Jake, wondering what the best change that you noticed. Amy, you first.
For me, as you all know, we've got kids. Kids love the Games Arcade. I was really surprised and happy to see the screens where you can actually load money onto the cards for the Games Arcade. Did you guys get to see how that worked? Because we didn't have a sale and sign card, so we couldn't practice. We tried to use it because we didn't have a sale and sign. We couldn't see how it worked.
I did excuse myself to just sort of said to a dad one day, can I just watch you go through this process with your kid and
creep?
I reckon.
Yeah, I know, right? I just want to learn what it is. I've got my son coming on in a couple of weeks with me, so no, I did super really smooth. And I will say, even if you're the type of cruiser as well that wants to just add cash to your card, to your cruise account now, rather than link your credit card, it's so easy to just go in now in basically the same process with FPOS and do that. So the arcade credit or this, super easy.
So did they pay with credit card? Just load it with
he didn't. He used he had gone to the machine nearby, the kiosk nearby, and
put money on.
FPOS money onto his kid's card and then charged it that way, the arcade credit that way.
Okay, so once that credit's gone though, will it stop spending?
Yeah, because he was on a cash account. He didn't have the card linked.
It's just like adding cash, but you're using your FPOS to add. Say, I want to add $100.
Yeah, I was really glad to see that because the first time we went on Pacific Explorer, Ty went into the Games Arcade, and $150 later, we're like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
So
that's as a parents, that would I can see that's definitely going to be helpful.
So that was a pleasant surprise because I've never seen that on any Carnival ship. So it was nice to see that.
Yeah, 100%.
What about you, Rob?
Look, it's difficult to say. A lot of the ship was pretty much the same on the Adventure, unchanged. But and I don't spend a lot of time in the casino. We do sort of maybe have a little bit of a flutter now and again. But one of the biggest changes that I've seen was the improvements to the casino. It's very very brand new, very land-based casino. It's looked really nice.
The layout was fantastic.
Remember, the Games Arcade is actually a part of the casino. That's actually an extension of the casino. So obviously that was where a lot of their focus was, because there was still the Games Arcade had completely changed from the last time we were in there.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got that down by in the atrium now on deck 5, though, haven't they?
Yeah, that's where they always were.
Cherry on top. Oh,
yeah, Cherry on Top's
top.
moved down there too, which is right outside the games arcade. So kind of makes sense. Kids spend all of our money in that corner, so keep them away from that part of the ship.
At least you know
well, Encounters now got Cherry on top as well. So that was new this time to Encounter, was putting the cherry on top, and it is right next door to the arcade.
Yep, so keep the kids away from Deck 5 Atrium.
Deb, what about you?
Look, I probably found the biggest change was, and I'm probably stealing your thunder because it's probably your best change, is the free pizza in Trattoria from 11 till 4. It's probably your favorite more than mine because I don't generally eat it, but it was obviously one of the bigger changes that has happened. So we obviously went down and checked it out. And there was the meat lovers, cheese, and veggie were the free ones that you could get. And then you had paid version as well. But they were the three that you could get from 11 to 4 down in Trattoria on Deck 7.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Much different to the regular pizza that you'd get on P&A?
Well, yeah, I think
maybe less
Rob,
toppings?
No, I didn't notice any difference like that. Rob, you were gonna ask?
I was going to ask you exactly what Amy asked you. Did you notice any difference? What were they a different pizza than you get from the pizza place up on Deck 14? Because
the pizzeria.
Pizzeria.
The pizzeria,
yeah. No difference.
No.
Because I did notice they'd got a sign up there, and the three pizzas that you mentioned there, you can actually get from that between 11 and 4, but there's a $6 charge. So you can either hop down to Deck 7 and get them for nothing, or you can go up to the pizzeria if you're too lazy to walk away from the pool and pay $6 for it. It's bizarre. I looked at it and I spoke to the person, and it was just, why? This just doesn't make sense.
This was always a little, when they announced it was a bit controversial, you remember, because everyone's like, why isn't it up at the pool? Why isn't it on Lido? And the thing is, like, I actually thought this was great because, you know, the adults who were generally down maybe at the Encounter Hotel for the trivias and different things during the day, or what, you know, maybe seeing something in a performer in the piano bar, they can duck in, grab a quick freebie slice of pizza, and the lines aren't very long. So we never had to line up. Whereas I know
people had the pizza everywhere down on Deck 7, rather than obviously if you're up on 14, a lot of the time you can have the pantry. So
I did have visions of that when they announced it, of people just wandering around in and out of the different venues with pizza in each hand.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was happening. Kevin says, took over 2 hours in the restaurants for meals. Yeah, we had some long meals on this first cruise as well. And again, I think, I'm not going to pass judgment on that yet because we'll give them time. This was the maiden voyage, and we'll see how they go on that. Did you get the free pizza? Was it awkward going to Deck 7 instead of Lido? No, we actually found on this cruise that we were down on Deck 7 a bit anyway, so it was easy. Would I go all the way down to Deck 7, or would I just pay $6 if I was up on Lido? I'd probably just pay the $6. To be honest, I'm not going to go.
I'm not paying the $6.
It's
Matt obviously earns a lot more than we do, Amy.
No,
especially at the moment, Rob.
I think, Rob, the thing is though, like, when you buy the pizza up, you're buying a pizza on up at Deck 6, whereas you're getting 2 slices down on Deck 7.
I never thought to ask you that, but so it comes by the slice.
Okay.
So
it's
it's not $6 a slice.
Yeah, it's not. It's you are getting and you and I've sat up there, many nights, up on the deck.
10 o'clock at night sometimes.
That's right, and it is the pizza. It's so there is that difference. You're getting free pizza, but you're not getting a pizza.
Yep.
So another vloggers here. G'day, glad you could join us tonight. And
finally caught us.
Get all of us on board tonight. Al's here as well, just catching up on all his comments.
Al. Yours
Get some
is
more salad
supermarket.
leaves while you're there. Tell us we need some more salad leaves.
You might have some grocery bags to bring in soon, Rob. What was the Wi-Fi like, Patrick? We I got a couple of things to say on it. I thought the Wi-Fi was still good. The ship was refitted about 18 months ago with Starlink, so super solid all the way through. You only ever really get your dropouts if you're jumping in the lift. So no dramas there in terms of connectivity. Easy to do meetings. You know that we both need the Wi-Fi, so being able to do Teams meetings or whatever the case may be, no dramas at all. What I would say, so 3-day cruise, we didn't purchase in advance. We've had a lot going on this last month, as you all know. So we said, we'll just get it when we're on board. 3-day cruise. It was $40 a day. Or $90 for the full cruise package. Now, on P&O and on Royal and things like that, it starts to prorata as you're progressing through the cruise. It did not. So because I held off thinking, I won't get it for the first 24, 36 hours. I'll wait until late Sunday or early Monday to get it, and the price stayed the $90 for the full cruise or $40 for a 24-hour period.
It was $40. I'm pretty sure I paid $25, although it was a basic package. I think it was the socials package. I think I paid $25 per day last time I was on Carnival.
So we need the premium for being able to do, like, if we need to do video calls with our workplaces and stuff like that. And do all our emails and things. And obviously maintain the YouTube and stuff it was definitely more expensive than pre-purchasing.
Always try and get it beforehand if you want it.
But I was surprised that it didn't there wasn't a pro rata rate for that full cruise pricing as the cruise progressed. But it did work all the same.
Right, so I know we're getting sort of late on.
Let's get through.
Anything else we need to address before we talk about next?
I'm just going to just Amy says here, Amy Knight says, we've noticed the same cruise gone up. We were looking Morton Island before Carnival announced takeover, then looked again, same cruise, same date, and it was $700 dearer. I think just, again, bear in mind with this, there's a demand issue with this sort of thing as well, and that's why it's going to take a little while to see, because if you look at it on one day and then a bunch of people book it and there's now less available.
Like a flight.
It's like when you're booking flights. The less seats that are available, the more.
Just walked in.
Hey!
Hello, everybody. I have been drudging around the shops listening to you lot and all the fabulous time you've had on these cruise ships. Ever so jealous. And
you should have listened to me, Al, because I actually did a click and collect order.
And on my way home,
I picked up my groceries. So rather than going around the shops, I click and collect on the way home.
I still haven't had dinner yet. I just got in and
I haven't either.
It's good. It was really good to listen to the different things about the different ships. And all of you.
Well, take a seat. Pull out. We're not done.
Yeah. Still. Carry on. Sorry, I interrupted. But just
good to see you.
I'll have to go and do the dinner.
Okay. Good to see Al's there. I've lost my spot.
I'll just, we were talking about the price increase. I'll just say, like, even with P&O, I had my finger on the trigger on one cruise. It was for the Aussie Classics cruise that we did in January. And we kind of put off. And I think it was like 1 or 2 days later, me and my friend went back on and it jumped up $100. And it's just all off demand. And I think a lot of people, and because I've got a personal holiday planner with Carnival, so whenever I've got a cruise I want to book, I just send him an email. He calls me straight away, books them all in for me. He's super, super easy. Michael Matten, if you ever want to look him up. Anyway, he works for Carnival, but I just say, hey, I want to book this. He just, if I want cabins with someone else, like when we book, because we quite often cruise with family, cabins right next to each other, he just pulls up, makes it super easy. Anyway, so there was a lot of people he's told me that had put off booking until the Carnival takeover. So therefore the demand's probably gone up a bit, which will drive the price up as well. So keep that in mind too.
Yep. Yeah, Linda says when they went, they were only cooking pepperoni and vegetarian. Yeah, and they were doing like the just the cheese one as well. So, but I guess dependent on the moment in time. Where are we at? I lost my spot. There was a question I did have. Was there a late night buffet? No.
I'm spewing about that. We love the late night buffet.
To be honest, that's actually something I think Carnival do very well, is to have that. Maybe that's
Even
something that they're going
up for it.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But see, I think, you know, they have the two paid. This is, I guess, part of their challenge at the moment. Because Carnival had the free pizza until 2 a.m. and then they've switched over to the late night buffet thing. Whereas these two P&O ships have got the late night burgers and the late night pizza that are a additional revenue source for them. So I can't see them introducing the late night buffet. At least not until the changeover, dry dock maybe.
Would that potentially be a part of the contract with Luke's as well?
I think there's
Quite
a
possibly.
very distinct possibility, yeah. So I like because you got the Luke's Burger Bar there, I think that's why there's like probably a non-compete on the, they can't do free pizza as part of that to protect the revenue going into Luke's. And so I again, until all those sort of the contracts come to their natural end or whatever the case may be, I don't see that changing. All right. So
did you, Amy or Rob, want to close out with any comments, statements, or anything like that?
Before we do one last thing, I'm just going to pull you in for a sec, Deb. Hang on. I'm going to switch over here. I know a lot of people have been asking about drinks prices. So I can't get my screen to properly zoom at the moment. So this is a couple of photos from the pool bar of the cocktails and wine. So if we zoom in, you got on tap beers are a sort of $11.50 for a schooner, $12.50 for a pint. So pints are clearly going to be more popular.
They're the same prices that they were on P&O, and on my video, you see, I actually asked the barman there, and he said the P&O, they were keeping all the P&O pricing, and I said that's great, keep it, because the P&O prices were less than Carnival, and the beer price, the $11.50 and the $12.50 there, is exactly the same as it was on P&O. But I've got a feeling that some of those other prices have actually gone up. They do seem to be more expensive than they used to be on the P&O ships.
Yeah, definitely some of the cocktails, I think, the cocktail prices have jumped up. So where are the cocktails? So they're sort of, that $18.50 for a glass for a cocktail. You can see, scroll over here, like your wines. A lot of those are starting at sort of around that $11 a glass up to about $15 a glass. 16 for one of the reds.
Yeah, that's probably about what they were before as well, I think.
Yeah. And then the main sort of cocktails again, that
staples there.
The Carnival staple cocktails, sort of that $18.50 and $13, $12.50. The Toblerones, these sort of four here premium cocktails are sort of the $19.25.
$19.25 to be exact.
Yeah. So there you go. So
the good cocktails, though, I'm just saying.
Yes.
They
correct.
They definitely, you know, don't skimp on the cocktails either, because I think I was saying to you, Rob, after the first, like, I think 2 drinks, I was just like, okay, I'm already feeling this. Like, before we sat down, I'm like, I need to, like,
You hadn't
chill
eaten,
out.
though, Amy. You hadn't eaten anything at all.
That probably didn't help. Yeah, I didn't eat all day. We had breakfast at the hotel, and we filmed that at 5:30, and I still hadn't eaten a single thing since breakfast, so that probably didn't help. But yeah, I definitely
That was
feeling the
funny.
drinks.
Yeah, and we flew down on Virgin, so we didn't get anything to eat for breakfast either.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
it's that's why I like cruising, because once you travel, you can get straight on and start eating straight away if you need to. Mind you,
well,
I'm
we
not
were
a very
offered
limited moment with that.
we were offered plenty of canapes and stuff when we were at the media event, but the thing is, we were finally together, and I was like, I remember talking to Abby, the cruise director. I was having a chat with her, and every like 30 seconds, someone would come with a plate. But you're in the middle of a conversation, so you didn't want to like grab the food and start, yeah.
It was
And
actually
then, like,
it was a bit crazy, wasn't it, Amy? Because we were one of the first ones on.
Hi, Sean. Yeah, we were, and
yeah, and it was empty in the Oasis, and then we would just sort of like kept meeting people, and then turned around and the place was full. I don't know where everybody came from. It was crazy, and it was really good as well, just seeing all those people and meeting up. And Chris Frame was there, and Adrian and Michael were there. There were a few other people as well that we bumped into and met. It was a really good opportunity for us all to get together.
Well, you snuck in early. They let you in early, and then we were all seated. They were gathering. They were gathering all of us
early, Amy. We turned up at the overseas passenger terminal. There's nobody outside, and we thought, oh, everybody must have gone in. So we went. We went in thinking that we were going to be late, and they took us through to this seating area, and there were 2 other people there, and it was this huge seating area with just like 2 people and us. And then when it started to fill up a little bit, they went from row by row. So they took the front row first, which is why we were, I think, number 4 and 5 on the ship or something like that.
Always finding a way.
Yeah. Sorry?
I just say, Rob always finding a way to sneak into something earlier. I've been on cruises with him, Amy, and you know, you'll be like, "Oh, I wish we could be down there." And suddenly you look, and there's Rob, like he's down in the perfect spot.
I've taken lessons. I've taken lessons from Scylla, Matt. So Scylla's always like, when we went to Luminosa back in 2022, she was on so early that she actually managed to join in with the ship cruise celebrations right at the beginning.
Nice job, Zilla. Nice job. All right.
Guys, we're ready to wrap up.
Yeah, I just want to say
where did that
thanks
go?
Thanks heaps, guys, for joining on with us tonight. It was so good.
Oh, thanks for inviting us. I've had a lot of fun, actually. It's really gone. I didn't realize it was that time, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been fun.
Yeah, no.
So thanks for having us.
Oh,
no.
Anytime.
Really appreciate it. Looking forward to catching up with you both in the next couple of weeks when we are back on the scenes
with you
again.
guys soon, and I'll bump into Rob and Ali in Sydney.
10 minutes on the overseas passenger terminals. You're getting on and we're getting off.
Yeah.
So are we timing it? Are we? We're just going to be like 10 minutes.
I'm going to have to get to work. And you got to get some food.
Yeah, I'll come and
catch up again.
I'll come and stop you as you get off the ship.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. And for those of ours that do watch every week, just as a sorry, you want to interrupt me?
I want to interrupt you because this is hilarious. I don't necessarily disagree. Like
Rob
and Ali,
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that comment. Really do. We both do. It's like, but seriously, we're just regular people. It's like,
yeah,
come and chat with us, have a drink with us.
Absolutely, that's what we're all like, and it's what every single one of us here agree with that. Always come and say hi to us.
We're just regular people on our cruises. Just come say hi.
You're in Melbourne. I'm probably about to book Amy's. Have a chat with Amy. I'm probably about to book her birthday cruise. So see if you can get on board, and we'll catch up then.
Yep, we will have that conversation tonight. You've now put more pressure on me to have that conversation again.
Make it happen, guys. Come down to my way for a change.
Yeah, well, we want to go and do the Maiden post post dry dock on her.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Asian
I
one.
really want to do that too, but I need something. Well, who knows? I've got some drastic life changes going on at the moment, so I don't know where I'll be then.
Yeah.
Long story short, basically, there's going to be a career change coming up for me very soon, I think. So I don't know where I'm going to be,
Yeah.
but if I can, I will be booking that one.
You just go and become a
Hey,
CD.
you got
Like,
to work for Carnival, get us all discounts.
You know,
Yeah,
there's a
There you
lot of
go.
people who think I should be a cruise director. There's a lot of people who think I am a part of the entertainment staff. I'm just a crazy dancing lady. That's all I am.
well,
But
you know, you're going to have that dance off in a couple of weeks with Deb, and there are Aussie
I
crews.
thought it was with you, Matt.
Hey.
Damn.
Do you know how many people approached me on this cruise on the last weekend talking about this dance-offs?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh
happening.
my goodness.
Australian cruisers know that there's going to be a dance off in a couple of weeks between Deb and Amy.
I'm going to break an ankle between now and then.
And
Oh, that's right. I'll probably do a knee. It's fine.
But you know, look, there are some great Aussie cruise directors out. We this weekend, like Ben is on Encounter at the moment.
Yeah.
He's a Brizzy boy.
He is.
So you know, why not, Amy? Maybe. You know.
All
Anyway,
right.
we're going to say goodbye. This is the longest goodbye ever. Yes, Sean,
Yes.
it is down your way collectively in Melbourne.
Yes, sorry, Sean.
We have loved catching up with you guys tonight. We've loved catching up with all the viewers. Thank you for all your questions. We will go back through the questions, and anything that we've missed, we will try and answer. But if you are watching this down the track, put a comment below. Ask us your questions. We'll jump in and try and answer as well. It's been fun hanging out with you all. We will see you next time.
Thanks,
Good night,
guys.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.